Welcome to the Southern Association of College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us this evening. Before we get started, just a few quick housekeeping items. The first is that you are welcome and encouraged to ask questions to any of the panelists at any time utilizing the Q&A button. Also, just a reminder that your microphone and camera are turned off, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you during this session. And about 1 week from today, a recording of this session will be available on the same website where you signed up for this evening session. We also want to thank our fair sponsor for this evening, the Cambridge Assessment International Education. But without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters. Our first presenter this evening will be Birmingham-Southern College. And you might be on mute there.
Hi, everyone. Took me a while, but I'm here. My name is Sydney Sullen, and I'm an Assistant Director of Admission at Birmingham-Southern. Super excited to tell you guys a little bit more about BSC. We want our students to have a life of significance here at BSC. We believe that your degree is just not a sheet of paper that you place on your wall or in your office, but actually an understanding of the world and how to work within it. So we want our students to have a life of significance. And we're actually a CTCL school. So if you guys are familiar with that, and we are part of one of 40 schools in a brand called Colleges That Changes Lives. We have a small campus, about 1,300 students coming from 31 different states and 18 countries. So we definitely believe that we have a diverse community at Birmingham-Southern. A little bit about our curriculum. It's going to be different than what you might find at another institution. And so instead of a list of classes, we have our curriculum listed here that are also known as skill sets. And so when you're looking for a job, this is not only a part of our curriculum, but also skill sets that employers are looking for. So they want to know, are you able to effectively communicate? Can you problem solve? Can you connect different ideas to one central idea? And so it breaks it down in the creative problem solving unit. The obvious choice here would be to take a math class, but we actually allow our students to take classes that are truly interesting to them, so they could fulfill creative problem solving and not take a math class. So it gives students the flexibility to take classes that are interesting to them and avoid the ones they don't want to take, all while fulfilling their curriculum and getting their degree. We have 50 defined majors, minors, and distinctions at Birmingham-Southern. Our most popular are the ones that are highlighted here: business, education, pre-health, pre-law, and psychology. A fun fact about Birmingham-Southern is if there is a major that you're interested in and it's not listed here, don't fret. We have the ability for our students to contract their major and kind of make it their own. A little bit about our campus beyond just having about 1,300 students is that we have a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which means that you're going to know your professor and your professor is going to know you. The average class size is about 16, so it might be about the same size as your high school class or maybe even a little bit smaller. But this just means that you're going to be able to engage with your professor, ask questions, know your classmates, and really feel like you're more than just a number. You're a student and you're going to be known. A little bit something that's fun about Birmingham-Southern and something that makes us different is that we have an e-term. So at Birmingham-Southern, our students are on a 4-1-4 schedule, which means they'll take 4 classes in the fall, 1 in January, and then 4 in the spring. Our spring semester happens a little bit later than most institutions. Our spring semester starts in February because during that January time, that e-term, is when our students go off and do fun things like go off to Uganda and teach. They might serve the homeless in San Francisco. Really fun experiences that can be completely unrelated to their major. And it's also a part of tuition. All students are required to do at least 2 e-terms, but some of our students choose to do 4 for their whole college career. So they'll do one every year. We are a residential campus. About 80% of our students live on the hilltop all 4 years. So there's definitely a community there. As a freshman, you're going to be required to stay in a traditional style dorm. So you and another person sharing a room, and then you'll share a bathroom hall with about 30 other people. And then after your freshman year, you're known as an upperclassman where you can live in the suites. So like a suite life. If you follow us on BSc admission, you'll be able to see what our residence halls look like. We definitely have a lot of student organizations as well, over 80. Our most popular are Student Programming Board and SGA. They put on fun events for our students that are either on campus or off of campus. And traditionally, BSc students are involved in more than one organization. So most times our students are involved in 3 or 4. So if you're looking to get engaged on campus and helping the community, we definitely have organizations on campus to help you do that. We're also an athletic school. We're part of the Division III athletics in the NCAA Division III in the Southern Athletic Association. We compete against schools like Berry's, Millsaps, and Hendricks. We have swimming, diving, lacrosse, football, basketball, softball, you name it, we probably have it. Our student athletes do really well in the classroom and on the field. They have an average GPA of about a 3.0. And then a little bit about Birmingham. So we are located in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the largest city in Alabama. And as you'll see at the bottom is actually a picture of our campus. And then in the background is Birmingham. So when we say Birmingham's our backyard, we really need it. Birmingham has parks, museums, concert venues, and a whole bunch of food to eat too. So though we're a small campus, we are located in a really fun, exciting city. And to get on into this action, we would love for our students to apply. There's 3 ways to apply on our BSc online application, the Common App or the Collision app. And then this is how you apply. So we can apply standard or test optional. If you're applying standard, you would need your high school transcript and your ACT or SAT test scores. If you're applying test optional, you would need an essay and a high school transcript. And we have the requirements listed here on this slide. And then this is our academic scholarship grid. So the fun thing and the awesome thing about Birmingham-Southern is that all admitted students will receive an academic scholarship depending on where they fall with their high school transcript and their GPA or their test scores or their essay. And I know that was a lot of information, but I would love for you guys to catch in more on the action at Birmingham-Southern. If you take your phone and hover over the screen right here on the QR code, it will take you to our admissions page where you can sign up for a tour, sign up for a virtual tour if you're far away from our area, and apply. Also, we would love for you to follow us on our Instagram account. We are at BSc Admission.
Thank you very much, Birmingham-Southern. Before we move on to our next presenter, just a reminder to any attendees who recently joined us, you are welcome and encouraged to ask questions to any of the panelists using the Q&A feature. Up next this evening is Massachusetts Maritime Academy.
Hello, everyone. As I pull this up, I'm Rose. I am the admissions counselor focusing mostly on the southern area of the United States. We are located in Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, which is right in Cape Cod. So kind of like that arm portion of Massachusetts. This is our campus here. This is pretty much all of it. We are a pretty small campus. These are just some quick facts about us. So we're about an hour south of Boston. So we're still pretty close to the city, about 45 minutes from Providence in Rhode Island. We have about 1,700 undergraduate students. We have a couple master's programs, so we have a few students participating in those programs as well, but they do participate off campus mostly. I'll get to it in just a second, but we are a fully regimented school. So that leads a lot of people to believe that we are military in origin. However, we are not. You do not have to join the military by coming here. We are still a public university, and we are a state maritime academy. There are 6 of us in the country. All of our academic programs are STEM-based, and we are also a D3 school for sports. These are our 7 different majors that we offer. All of them are Bachelors of Science. The first 2 listed are what we call our license track. So marine engineering and marine transportation really gear you to working on a ship, going into the maritime and shipping industry. The other 5, you can kind of go wherever you want. They're a lot more flexible. So by coming here, you are not necessarily going to be a merchant marine or a mariner or working on a ship. There's definitely flexibility with whether or not you have a career on land or on sea. But like I said, they're all STEM focused. As an admissions counselor, we are really focused on those math and science classes that you take during high school, the grades that you get in them, but also what level of math and science do you complete. So we definitely look at that a lot more heavily than some of the arts and humanities. All of our majors do require some form of an internship, whether it is C-term, where some of our students get to go on the ship, which is behind me right here, ship out for about 6 weeks in the winter. They get to go down to the Caribbean, go through Panama sometimes, usually stop in Florida, and get that hands-on shipping experience. And our other majors get to do experiential learning. So like our business majors will sometimes go to South Africa and do an internship, but it's also kind of like a study abroad experience. So this is the regiment. This is kind of what I was talking about. The picture where they're wearing their all blacks is kind of what you'd wear your day to day. So you do have to wear that pretty much every day going to classes. The whites, the picture on the bottom, are more for special occasions. So the regiment means that our day-to-day structure is a little stricter than your typical school. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep is pretty much planned out for you. You do still have free time. You can definitely do sports and clubs and other activities, but a lot of your day will be planned out ahead of time and very structured. But you do get a lot of leadership experience through this campus life, and it's definitely a really unique way to have that college experience. So these are all of the sports that we have, our 15 different D3 teams. And we also have a student government. They're the ones that put on different pop-up events, our Emory Rice Day, which is our big annual event that we have on campus every year. We have a student lounge that has foosball, pool, air hockey. You can get snacks and drinks there for substantially cheaper than you could in town. And so our student government and our club and sports are kind of like the more fun side of coming to Mass Maritime, I'll say. Definitely less strict, definitely not regimented. And it's a nice way to kind of, relax afterwards. That's kind of the overall basics. We are, even though we're a public school, we are still different from your traditional schools or your liberal arts or your other state schools. Our experience here is definitely very unique, and you will get a lot of different career outcomes that you may not get at another school, just because it is mandatory at least 2 times for every major to have some sort of experiential learning. But like I said, you do not have to be interested in the military. You don't have to be interested in working on a boat. We kind of cater to everyone, and definitely our kind of more popular experiences are joining emergency management and getting your EMT license, becoming a firefighter, other unique experiences like that we have on our campus. For applying, we are on the Common App. We also have our own application. So you can do either. This year, we are test optional. Have not made a decision about next year, but we are hoping to be test optional again. But if you have any questions about that or anything that I mentioned, feel free to reach out at admissions@maritime.edu or in the Q&A and chat feature here. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much, Mass Maritime. I might recommend to our panelists, after you present, go ahead and just send out a blast message on chat with any sort of contact information that you want to get out to the group so that they can copy and paste it. Up next this evening will be Flagler College.
All right, hi everybody. My name is John Schaefer. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions here at Flagler College. Give you a little bit of background on Flagler. We are a small private school. Our total undergraduate enrollment here is only about 2,500 students. So you're looking at about a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We do not have any lecture halls here at Flagler. You're always getting taught directly by a professor. There's no graduate assistants or teaching assistants with any of these classes. And the professors are really going to serve as mentors for you throughout your time here, especially when you start getting into your major related coursework to help you guide as far as what types of classes and electives, internships, anything like that that you should be looking for. Develop those types of connections as well. There's going to be a lot of availability to get outside of the classroom, work hands-on, meet with professionals, and really get an idea what the industries look like that you're interested in. So just showing where our student body is coming from. I told you we're only about 2,500 students, but we stretch really across the entire United States. About 50% of our incoming classes from outside of the state of Florida. So we definitely have a diverse population on campus. And really because of that, we're not going to be a suitcase college because it's hard for most of our students to really get home on weekends. So it's going to be a very active campus no matter when you're here. And as you can see, we also about 5% of our population is international as well. So you have students from all over the country and all over the world coming here. And I already told you that, so skipping on. So about our location, we are located in historic St. Augustine, Florida. If you're not familiar with St. Augustine, we are the oldest city in the country. So if you've ever heard of Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth, that is us. We are about 7 minutes from the Fountain of Youth, which is definitely a cool aspect to have. But we are in the northeast region of Florida, about an hour south of Jacksonville, about an hour north of Daytona Beach, and about 2 hours from Orlando. And of course, everything that Orlando has to offer. A lot of opportunities for great internships nearby, since you have a lot of great metropolitan areas nearby, but also, of course, just a lot to do in the nearby area. So definitely take advantage of our location. All right, so a little bit more about our location. Like I said, we're right in downtown St. Augustine. So this is St. Augustine. You're looking actually out from the bay onto our campus. Our campus is right there in the background. You are walking distance from everything that St. Augustine has to offer. A ton of shopping, a ton of restaurants, a lot of great history, anything from an old Spanish fort to a museum based just on pirates. A lot to do as far as water sports like paddleboarding and kayaking and surfing. We're about 10 minutes from the St. Augustine beach. So we have a great surfing program that will go there just about every morning. So definitely a lot to do in the area. So if you're ever bored for some reason on campus, all you have to do is just walk right outside. And then to speak about campus, about 60% of our population lives on campus, but you are required to live on campus as a freshman. Everything is walkable. There's no buses to take to classes or anything along those lines. We are a absolutely gorgeous campus, so I do encourage you to do a virtual visit. We do guided virtual visits that include an information session as well as just a self-guided virtual visit that you can also do. Just a lot of great places on campus to spend downtime as well. There's a palm garden, just rows of palm trees where students will stretch out hammocks and lay out and just relax. Outdoor volleyball, there's a pool that's open year round. We have Chick-fil-A in our student center. So there's just a lot of places to just kind of relax and get away in between classes. Speaking of classes, we are primarily a liberal arts school. So many of our most popular majors are within like business, criminology, sociology, the arts like fine arts and performing arts. We have a great education department as well. Our only non-liberal arts-based major currently is coastal environmental science, and then we also offer a minor in biology. Since we are a liberal arts school, many students are actually mixing and matching their programs to really create a unique pathway for themselves. So like marketing and graphic design or criminology and sociology. We even had a student who majored in coastal environmental science and minored in fine art, and she ended up getting a job at a textbook company drawing the anatomy of animals. So there's definitely a lot of unique stuff you can do by really combining majors and programs together. So going into our cost, our total cost, including tuition, room, board, and fees, is just over $34,000. So we are a private school, but as a private school, we're actually about 40% less than your average private school across the United States. So definitely not a lot at the sticker price end. And then about 95% of our students are going to receive some form of academic merit scholarship, which ranges anywhere from $1,000 to $4,500 per year. And then 90% of our students are going to receive some form of financial aid. So if they're applying for the FAFSA and everything. So to take a look at our academic profile, the average incoming class had about a 3.5 GPA. That is a weighted GPA, so we'll take into consideration your AP classes and your dual enrollment classes and stuff along those lines. And then average SAT and ACT were an 1130 and a 24 for students who submitted them. We are a test optional school. We have been a test optional school for several years now. So if your scores don't represent what you can do in the classroom, you do not need to submit those. And that's all that I have.
Great. Thank you very much, Flagler. And again, it looks like we've had a few attendees just join us. Feel free to send any questions you might have for any of our panelists utilizing the Q&A feature. Up next this evening is Simmons University.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Dana Bradstreet. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm our Florida and Georgia admission counselor at Simmons. Simmons is located right in the city of Boston. We are pretty small, about 1,800 students. We have about 49% students of color, about 48% the first in their family to go to college, more than 70 student organizations, 60 majors and programs. We are a liberal arts and sciences school, so a strong focus on preparing students for that life's work and skills like research, data analysis, group work, public speaking, but also combining that with professional preparation. We require all of our students to do research or clinical or an internship. We are a residential college, so most of our students do either live on campus or have an apartment nearby in the city of Boston. And we're also a women-centered college, so our focus is on education for women, including trans women and non-binary folks who were assigned female at birth. Simmons, as I said, is right in the city. So if you were to fly into Boston, you're across the Boston Harbor. The airport is right within the city of Boston, so it's very accessible. Specifically, our neighborhood is near Fenway Park. I know you're probably not Red Sox fans, not being from New England, but maybe you will be if you come to Simmons. If there's a home run or anything like that, you will absolutely hear it from the windows of the housing. We are also near the Longwood Medical area. We have top medical programs. Our nursing program is typically #1 or #2 in New England for our rankings. And a lot of it is due to these partnerships with some of the best healthcare institutions in the country. And we're also right near the Museum of Fine Arts and the Gardner Museums, and both of those are free with your Simmons ID. We're also one of 15 colleges within a 15-minute walk. So even if you don't necessarily know somebody who comes to Simmons, you might know folks who are attending the other colleges nearby. So it really opens up the community. I have our list of majors. I'm of course not going to read them all, but I do want to point out the beauty of a liberal arts and sciences school is that you can decide after you start. You have your first 2 years to explore. About 13% of our students will double major as well. The only exception, the only major you have to apply for right away is nursing, and it's just because it's a highly structured program. Those classes begin right away. I also want to point out on the right-hand side some of our accelerated programs, and those ones let you complete a second bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or even a doctorate degree in the case of physical therapy. They let you save some time and save some money. So just something to consider. As I mentioned, all of our students have some sort of hands-on experience as part of their curriculum at Simmons. You can see some examples here. And, maybe if you're in a major like social work or nursing, it's a little bit more assigned to you. Maybe if you're in a major like business or communications or political science, you are going out there and applying for internships and competing with this greater pool of students in the Boston area. But that's one of the great things about going to college in Boston. There's so many places that are offering internships throughout. So it's very easy to find one. As some examples of where folks have gone after Simmons, we've had nursing students go work for LifeStar and be up there in the helicopter helping the most serious patients. We had a computer science student get hired by Twitter right after she graduated, as well as a graphic design student go work for Snapchat designing filters. We have students going to med school, dental school, law school, and other graduate programs, including a bio major who recently graduated and is now down in the South in Florida studying manatee biology. As a women-centered institution, there's a strong focus on helping folks who have maybe been marginalized because of their gender identities, a focus on empowering women, a focus on leadership as well. There's one stat here, you're twice as likely to complete a graduate degree versus women who go to co-ed schools. And I think that's really powerful. Another powerful one, which isn't on here, is that you're 12 times as likely to complete a STEM degree. 12 times as likely to complete a STEM degree versus women who go to co-ed schools. And I think, again, it really speaks to the level of support that's available to you. And especially, with our faculty, about 3/4 of our faculty and staff are women as well. So in terms of next steps, if you're a senior, you still have time to apply. We are on the common application and there is no fee to apply. I know it's a little bit past our deadline, but absolutely you can still apply. Just give us an email and we can work with you on that. We have virtual visits going on 6 days a week. We also have our FinPals program, which is basically a way for you to email or correspond with a current student. And I think that's really important, especially if you've never been to the Boston area, or if you have any questions on what it's like to attend a women-centered college. I would definitely recommend that you get a FinPal. And I will drop my email in the chat as well as the FinPals link. All right, thanks so much, everybody, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Simmons. Our next presenter this evening will be the University of Arkansas.
All right, hi everyone. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, awesome. So my name is Megan Garland and I'm an admissions counselor here for the University of Arkansas. And so I'll kind of talk a little bit about our area first, since many of you are from out of state and might not be so familiar with Fayetteville, Arkansas. So Fayetteville, Arkansas is in the northwest corner of the state. And interestingly enough, it is has been named the #4 place to live in the entire United States. So it's a quintessential college town with some great restaurants and shopping, a historical downtown square, award-winning farmers market, but it's also within the greater Northwest Arkansas area. And so you might be a little bit more familiar with that because of a town called Bentonville. Now, Bentonville is the home of Walmart. So that is where Walmart was started. And if you didn't know, Walmart requires every single retailer they work with have an office in the Northwest Arkansas area. So what that means is there are going to be over 325 Fortune 500 companies and over 4,000 businesses within an hour's drive of campus. That's anything you see on Walmart's shelves, from Nestle, Kraft, Hershey, Coca-Cola, you name it, there's an office in the area. So you're talking about some pretty incredible networking opportunities available to you as a college student. Of course, that does overflow into things like internships, job shadowing, distinguished lectures that are hosted on our campus. And so it's a great place to be, great area to be in, a lot of awesome opportunities. Now we are also in the top 25 outdoor colleges in the United States. If you're interested in the outdoor scene, things like hiking, biking, fishing, canoeing, there's just a ton of those opportunities available throughout the area. So if those kinds of things pique your interest, you could find a really good fit at the U of A. There's a lot going on our campus as well, not just in the area, but on our campus, we do have over 400 registered student organizations. It's going to range from anything from from pre-professional societies, political, religious, cultural organizations. A couple of my personal favorites are the I Heart Dr. Pepper Club, and then the Tour de Nugget, which is actually an organization a student started where students will carpool around town to all the various restaurants that serve chicken nuggets, and then they will rank them bracket style to determine who serves the best nuggets in town. So you can get creative with the types of things you're getting involved in on our campus. As far as academic studies, we do have over 200 degree programs. About 100 of those are undergraduate majors that you can participate in. I'll highlight a couple of our programs. So our Sam Walton College of Business is in the top 30 business schools in the country. Let's see, our nursing program is one of our most popular majors. They have a 100% job placement rate after graduation. Our College of Engineering offers 11 different disciplines of engineering, and it is nationally ranked as well. And then our School of Architecture is in the top 10 programs in the country as well. So lots of options, no matter what you want to study. You can mix and match majors and minors and things like that. Regardless of your major, we do maintain an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and the majority of our classes enroll no more than 30 students. Now, while we do keep those class sizes as small as possible, it's kind of surprising because our enrollment is a little bit larger. So our record campus enrollment was just under 28,000 students. That's twice the size of my hometown. So if you're overwhelmed by that number, I want to reassure you the university will make sure you're seen and known and well taken care of while you're on our campus. There's also opportunities to go abroad. So we are in the top 5 study abroad programs. You can participate in about 1,300 programs in 57 countries or so. We have our own international campus, the University of Arkansas in Rome. So from Fayetteville to anywhere except for Antarctica, you can go and have an international education experience. Okay, I want to talk briefly about some of our most important scholarship opportunities, especially since so many of you are from out of state. I know that can be intimidating trying to think and process out-of-state tuition, so I want to make sure you have a good understanding of this. Now, I do know there's possibly some Arkansas students who are joining us tonight. If you are from Arkansas, this non-resident tuition award would not apply to you, of course, because you are getting in-state tuition, but make sure you are checking out that Arkansas Academic Challenge Scholarship or the Distinguished Governor Scholarship through the Arkansas Lottery. Otherwise, if you come from out of state, you can see we have 2 categories there, the neighboring states and the extended states. Now, our non-resident tuition award is going to offer you a certain percentage off of that additional out-of-state portion of tuition. So if you're a neighboring state, up to 90% off. Extended, it's going to be up to 80%. It is 100% based on your GPA, no test score requirement. So if you meet the GPA, congratulations, you're going to receive really anywhere from about $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Automatically, there's no application. If you meet the requirement, congratulations, you're going to receive that award. So again, up to $15,000 just for your GPA, and there are competitive scholarships on top of that. So we try to make it as affordable as possible for you to come and be a Razorback. All right, just to talk a little bit about the admissions timeline, you've got my contact information there. So I know this is really short and brief and kind of rushed, but if you have questions, feel free to reach out directly to me. I'm happy to help. If you are a senior, our application is still open. So if you have not applied, you've got plenty of time, but the sooner you go ahead and apply, the better. And then if you are a junior, you're looking at your application opening mid-summer, sometime in July, and then we'd ask that you get that application in by November 1st. So that's what I've got for you as far as the presentation goes. Again, reach out if you have any questions. We would love to have you join our Razorback family. Thanks so much, and woo pig sooie.
Hey, thank you very much, University of Arkansas. And our last panelist this evening will be Arizona State University.
Thank you. Screen shared. All right. Thank you so much for joining tonight, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you and talk a little bit about Arizona State University. So ASU, we are one of the largest public universities in the country. So you might have heard of us, might have not. I know we're on the opposite side of the country from most of you, but we are excited to tell you a little bit more about ASU tonight. So first and foremost, we always like to talk a little bit about ASU's, charter and mission of the university. And I just always love to point out that within our charter are our institutions defining and core values, and it truly is our ultimate statement of what it means to be a Sun Devil. So whenever we start a new program, whenever we start a new initiative, we always run everything through our charter to make sure it lives up to what we stand for and what we believe in at the university. My favorite piece of the charter, and probably one of the most important parts of our charter, is that we measure ourselves not by whom we include, or sorry, not by whom we exclude, but whom we include and how they succeed. So you'll find that in our admission requirements. Any student who meets our admission criteria is going to be guaranteed admission to ASU because we don't believe in excluding a student who is ready for college to be accepted into ASU. So that is the most important part of our charter and our mission at the university. Also, you'll see some of our most recent accolades. My favorite one to talk about is our #1 in the United States for innovation. My favorite part of this ranking is how we got it. So it's a peer ranking. So other university presidents and provosts look to ASU as an institution that is changing the ways of higher education, being innovative, and just making a difference in our communities. What does innovation mean? How does ASU show that? But there's lots of different ways for that. And we're just trying to find different ways to address relevant, pressing topics within our communities to make Arizona as a whole and the country a better place. For those of you who don't know, ASU is located in the Phoenix metropolitan area in the state of Arizona. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country, and ASU is the only research extensive university located in Phoenix. So we have to cater to a lot of the city just because of us being the only ones there, which is awesome for us, but also poses a challenge of space and providing the best educational experience for our students. All of our campuses at ASU are fully self-sustainable. That means they have everything you need from residential halls, student recreation centers, a library, dining facility. Literally everything that you would see at a normal institution will be at every one of our locations across the Phoenix metropolitan area. You can also have every single class from English 101 all the way to your senior capstone offered on the campus of your major. So I always like to kind of give it an analogy of Disney World. And since we're talking with the Southern states, you all know Disney World. But I always say it's like a park hopper pass. When you apply to ASU, you get one ASU Sun card. It would get you into all locations at the university. So similar to a park hopper pass, one pass gets you into all parks for the day. So it's a little bit of a different model than some other universities that have multiple locations. And we do have an inter-campus shuttle that does take students around all locations. So if you do have classes on multiple campuses, you can hop on the shuttle and take that to the next campus. But you do not have to have a multi-campus experience if you do not want to have a multi-campus experience. Your major will determine which campus you're going to be located on. So just to give you some example, the downtown Phoenix campus is where most of our professional based programs are going to be housed. So our journalism program, which is the #3 journalism program in the country, our public service programs, health and nursing, anything you need to run a city is going to be located in the heart of the city. So we want you to be steps away from internships, job opportunities that you might not have elsewhere. And then another reason the journalism programs downtown is Phoenix is the 10th largest media market in the country, which is another great reason for that to be located there. Polytechnic campus is home to our aviation program. So this campus is pretty unique as it sits on an old Air Force base. So we do actually have access to a runway that's attached to the Mesa Gateway Airport. So we have a very large aviation program. And the Polytechnic campus actually sits on the same amount of land as our Tempe campus, which is our largest location, but only holds about 5,000 students. So it's really, really great. A smaller campus experience. You'll find a lot of hands-on engineering programs there. The Tempe campus is what a lot of students will think of when they're thinking of ASU. That is our founding campus. And that's where our athletic facilities are going to be held. And you also have the majority of our programs are going to be offered on the Tempe campus. So we have engineering, business, the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, the Teachers College, the Herberger Institute for Design and the Arts, all located on the Tempe campus. There's around 65,000 students that will study on the Tempe campus every year. So definitely a large location. So if you're looking for a large university, that would definitely be the campus to look at. And then lastly, the West Campus was modeled after Oxford University in England. So it's our small liberal arts college. So if you're looking for a smaller university experience with large university resources, the West Campus would be a great place for you. And lastly, I know, Chris, I'm so sorry, lots of information. Just to wrap up, our admission requirements, 3.0 GPA in our 16 core competencies, and we are test optional. So there is a way to get in with test scores if you have it, but it's not necessary if you do not. And lots of different ways to get involved on campus as well.
Thank you very much, ASU. We do have a few minutes left. So while we wait to see if any additional questions come in for our attendees, and ASU, you do have a question that came in during your presentation. I'll just do a quick round robin, short answer, maybe answer one of the following two questions. Either what's one piece of advice you would give to someone going through the college search process, or a crowd favorite, what's one thing you did not have time to talk about in your presentation that you'd like to cover quickly? Why don't we go back in that same order? So we'll start with Birmingham-Southern.
I think a really good piece of advice for seniors or juniors when they're trying to figure out where to go to college is try not to stress so much about it. I know that picking a college can be a weighty decision, but ultimately you'll end up where you're supposed to be. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. That's why transferring is a possibility. And when you're looking for colleges, try to figure out what college really feels like home to you.
Great, thank you. Mass Maritime.
Also, with the piece of advice, I would definitely echo what Sydney just said about not being too stressed out about it, but also know that you don't have to do every single sport and extracurricular in the world and tire yourself out just to get into college. Sometimes people really like it if you do one thing that you're really passionate about instead of doing 20 things that you only put minimal effort into.
Thank you. Flagler?
Yeah, so just piggybacking on that, don't stress, ask questions. Us as admissions counselors, we're here throughout the entire process to help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and also just be vigilant with your email. A lot of important stuff goes to your email, so just make sure that you're constantly checking that.
Great, thank you. Simmons?
Hi. I think my advice would be that there have actually been a lot more virtual opportunities than ever before. So make sure you're taking advantage of those, but also, think about reaching out to your admission counselor in the fall. Hopefully we will be traveling on the road and doing these college fairs in person again. So don't hesitate to reach out to us when we'll be in your area.
Great, thank you. University of Arkansas?
I feel like my colleagues have all given really great advice to you guys so far. One thing that I didn't mention about the University of Arkansas, just so y'all know, we are open in person for in-person campus tours. And I'm sure many other universities are offering some kind of in-person or virtual component. And so just be sure you're asking those questions to see if you can come to a campus tour wherever your dream school is. It's a great way to get a feel for the town and for the campus. And so definitely try to do that if you are able to do so safely and in a healthy way.
Thank you. And Arizona State.
Yes, I echo what everyone said, but definitely find your admission representative. They get paid to help students, and we love helping students. It's one of our favorite parts of our job. So please, please, please find your admission representative for whatever university you're looking at, because they are there to help you, help guide you, and also make sure you're asking the great questions. But financial is the biggest question I would say to ask for when you're looking at colleges, just making sure you're aware of the costs up front, and just trying to find different ways to help with that cost, bring that down.
Thank you, ASU, and thank you to all of our panelists this evening. It was great having you. Before we conclude, just a few quick housekeeping items. You will receive a very short survey when we close this session, so please take a minute and complete it. We also want to remind you that a recording of this session will be available on the same website where you signed up for today's session. I know a few students over the last few sessions have had questions about getting a copy of the PowerPoints, etc. You'll be able to review this session online. But again, thank you to everyone and students. Good luck in your college search and have a great evening.